Welcome to Crimson Tide Connection, your home for Crimson Tide sports, and I'm joined by the head coach of the Alabama rowing team, Larry Davis. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Enjoyed being here.
Coach, you're coming off a huge weekend up at the Chattanooga head race on the Tennessee River. Your team won the Championship 8 race. Can you kind of talk to us about that and how your A boat, matched up against the Tennessee's A boat, and you won?
Well, it was certainly something that we had wanted to perform well in that event, and we thought we had more speed this fall than we've had in the last couple of years, and as it turned out, that was correct. And the thing that excites us is we've always had sort of a goal is to catch up with programs that have been around for a lot longer than us, and Tennessee is probably the easiest template to go by because they're in the SEC, and we certainly want to be competitive within our SEC. And they've always had sort of the upper hand when it comes to the first boat. We've beaten them in other crews, but in the first boat it was something where we've always been a little bit behind, and the closest we'd been in the past was about 17 seconds or so. And to be able to come down the course and execute the way we'd planned on, and to be able to row at the speed that we thought we needed, and then find out that that's exactly what we wanted, and it gave us the victory that we were looking for. I think everybody was pretty excited about that because it shows not only what we accomplished this fall, but we've been building to this for 6 years, and it's certainly one of the things I would say to the students over time. It's not a matter if we beat Tennessee, it's going to be a matter of when, and we found out this weekend was the win, so we're happy about that.
Coach, were you kind of surprised to be able to perform that well since you have such a young team so far?
Well, I guess if I talked to you maybe 2 months ago, I would say yes, but having seen the girls perform in practice, I had some expectations that we could do that if we just went out and executed and kept our composure. And that's one thing about a young team that you're not really sure of all the time. How are they going to respond in a racing situation under pressure? But they did about everything I would like for a crew to do. And looking at, we have an electronic piece of equipment that gives our boat speed as we're going down the course, and looking at the consistency that they had, you wouldn't think it was as young a crew as it was, and I'm very pleased to see that they were able to go out and do the things we talked about, and that's pretty exciting when you have a young team to do that too.
Coach, you won 6 medals in 5 races, with 3 of those being gold. Just kind of talk about that, and does that show the depth that you have on this team?
Yes, it does, and it's something that we do a variety of things in the fall that we don't necessarily do in the spring, and some of that is we want to work on our skills, and that's one reason why we'll put people out in small boats at times, because it's a great way for people, especially young people, to learn what really makes a boat move. It's more than just pulling hard. We do a lot of work on land, like a lot of teams do with ergometers and stuff, and sometimes young people can make the mistake that it's just a matter of how hard you pull, and certainly that's part of the process. You can't move fast if you don't pull hard, you're not fit.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that you can do that will help make a boat go faster or slow it down, and one of the best places to learn that is in a small boat. And so we had some girls that really were excited about the prospect, and we're not forcing anybody to race in a small boat, but we broke the team down between what we rowed in the 8s, and then we broke it down between rowing some 4s and rowing some pairs and doubles, and we sort of allowed the girls to decide, where's my forte. And we were very pleased to see that in the small boats, in the pairs and the doubles, all the crews medaled. And I think that the execution level was quite high, and it was challenging for them because at the latter part of the day, the wind really picked up, and the first 2,000 meters of the 5,000-meter course were really, really kind of nasty. And the girls coming back in were talking about it, but they handled it well. They didn't panic, and if you look at the combinations we put out, there was some use to those combinations, and to see that they handled less than ideal conditions well and still were able to come down the course and have a gold medal and a silver and a bronze that's something we had hoped for, but we're really pleased to see that happen.
Coach, you had a great weekend this past weekend, and I'm sure you're excited to get back out on the river and see how this team's going to do in that second matchup as you head to Cambridge, Massachusetts for the head of the Charles. Just kind of talk about that river, and how do you think that river fits this team? Well,
that's a lot trickier course than what we have. We're kind of spoiled where we are. We have very good conditions. We have a body of water that's between us and the club men's program is pretty much to ourselves. We have to share it with a little river traffic here and there, but overall we're pretty blessed not to have to deal with a lot of traffic. People that grow up in Philadelphia or Boston or Washington, D.C., they're used to having a lot of different teams out there, a lot of motorboat wakes, a lot of things going on, a lot of confusion, and you sort of get used to how to handle it, and we don't have to handle it that often. So from the perspective of not just how do you perform racing-wise, it's a big challenge for our coxswain. She has to do a really good job of not only navigating the course, but also sort of getting around traffic. sort of the old Jimi Hendrix song, "Crosstown Traffic." You've got to be able to deal with it well if you're going to be able to have a fast time there. You can be rowing really fast, but get self hung up in races. And we've had that happen before, where you run into a roadblock and it takes you way out of your game, and you have to be able to maintain your composure and do a really good job steering down the course. And we're very fortunate. We have a senior coxswain in that boat, and we think she's one of the keys to us doing well up there, because she'll able not only to do the things that a coxswain does in motivating a crew, but she's going to have to navigate the twists and turns and the things that go on in Boston and keep the girls focused and not get them sidetracked. It's a very noisy course. The bridges are not very high. When you go through them, it's like an echo chamber. And for young people, that can be a distraction. That can be a distraction for anybody, I guess. Right. But for young people, it can be a distraction. So I think we'll have a real plus with Kiffy taking charge of the crew and keeping ourselves centered as we go down the course.
Coach, you compete on Saturday and Sunday at the head of the Charles. What do you expect to see, or what would you hope to see from this team results-wise?
Well, given the speed that I'm seeing, if we go out and execute at the level we're doing right now, I think we can medal. And I think if we really nail it and do everything right, course-wise and cadence and pressure and keeping the speed the way we need to and avoiding any kind of mishaps on the course, I think we have a shot at a gold medal, which is, I don't often say that because it puts a jinx, but I think these girls have that potential. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. We certainly have to go out and do our job in all parts of the race, but I certainly think we're medal contenders. And like I say, if we really nail it, then I think we can have a shot at a gold.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of exciting things going on with this rowing team just early on in the season.
Yeah, the chemistry, I think, is one of the biggest things. We're not the biggest team out there. We're not the most experienced. We're not the strongest team. But I think because of the camaraderie and the team spirit and the energy they've showed, we're accomplishing some things because of that attitude that normally you have to have a little more depth or a little more talent or a little more experience than we do. But I think the girls sense it, and they realize that energy is going to be a key part of what we're able to accomplish this year, and we're all pretty pumped about it.
Well, Coach, good luck there on Saturday and Sunday at the head of the Charles there in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Thank you much.
And fans, if you want to see how the team competes there, just check on RollTide.com, and we'll have the complete wrap-up after the weekend. For head coach Larry Davis, I'm Chris Fringland for Crimson Tide Connection.